Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next hour, President Draupadi Murmu to hold talks with her Angolan counterpart in Luanda. Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Uttarakhand to mark the state's 25th Foundation Day. Typhoon Fengwang approaches the Philippines after Kalmeji wreaks havoc across Southeast Asia. (1,400) flights cancelled on day 2 of US government-mandated flight cuts amid shutdown. And President Ahmad al-Shara begins US visit. It's the first such visit by a Syrian president since the country's independence in 1946. President Draupadi Murmu, who is on a visit to Angola as part of a first leg of her two nations tour, will hold bilateral talks with her Angolan counterpart today. President Murmu is the first ever Indian head of state to visit that country. Upon her arrival in Angola, she was received at the airport by the country's foreign minister. During her visit, President Murmu will also address Angolan Parliament and interact with members of the Indian diaspora. Besides, President Murmu will also attend the 50th anniversary celebrations of Angola's independence on 11th November. Now, this trip holds immense importance, especially as India and Angola mark the 40th anniversary of their diplomatic ties this year. From Angola, her next stop will be the neighboring country of Botswana. Now, President Murmu's itinerary also includes interacting and engaging with members of the Indian community living in that country. DD India's Akash Popli spoke to Samuel Mathai, Vice President of the Indian Chamber of Commerce in Angola, about the President's visit and its significance for the diaspora. Take a listen.
Our President visit, the Angolans will be considered a great achievement for them because they also wanted India to come over here, and they consider now India is one of the fast growing country, and then there are India's participation in this investment and participations they are expecting a lot. So our President visit will be a great achievement for our country.
Nilesh Mehta, the president of the Indian community in Angola, feels India and Angola have great potential to collaborate in different sectors such as aviation, mining, ports, healthcare, among other areas.
Bilateral relations, the first time the president of India is visiting Angola, and there is a huge potential in the various sectors, as I said, that in the trading sector, in the health sector, in the service sectors, even in the aviation sectors also, I can say. They just opened the new airport, and there is a huge potential and possibilities for the ports, for the mining sectors, for the industrialization. As far as the Indians are very good in the creating the small scale jobs. So our focus as an Indian community, our focus is to creating more jobs over here in Angola, and strengthen the relations.
Moving on, campaigning for the second and last phase of the Bihar election will conclude on Sunday evening. In this phase, polling will be held on the 11th of November in 122 constituencies spread across 20 districts. More than 3.7 crore voters will decide the electoral fate of 1,302 candidates, including 136 women. On the last day of campaigning today, senior campaigners and top leaders from the NDA and the Opposition Alliance and other parties are scheduled to address several public meetings and election rallies across the state. And my colleague Deepika Mehta joins us from Gaya for more. Deepika, talk to us a bit about the constituencies that will go to the polls in the second and last phase of the election.
Good afternoon, Ramesh. 122 constituencies will go to the poll in the second phase of Bihar Assembly elections. 121 went into the poll in the first phase, and the first phase saw a very good voter turnout, recording 64%, which is really high as compared to the 2020 numerics. When we talk about the second phase of the elections, the expectations are same from the second phase as well, from across 122 constituencies, where all the candidates will be vying for a victory. And when we talk about the fight, it is mainly a fight between the Mahagathbandhan, which is the Grand Alliance, BJP with other parties, which is the NDA Alliance, and of course the third party is the newly emerged Jan Suraj Party. So the campaigning is going on aggressively across all the constituencies, village to village, and in all the districts. And by 5 p.m. we'll start observing the silence period, and after 5 p.m. according to the Indian Standard Time, there will no more campaigning be taking place here across all the different constituencies, Ramesh.
Before the voters,
your voice got cut. Can I get the second question? Can you please ask?
What are some of the key issues confronting the voters, Deepika?
When we talk about the key issues here, the main issue is, of course, of job creation and employment opportunities that everybody is demanding. Right from the youth, there are around 15 lakh first-time voters here across both the phases, across 121 plus 122 constituencies here in Bihar. And we went to so many constituencies, including the constituencies like Jahanabad, which is SC, scheduled caste seat, and is also dominated by Bhumihars. We also went to Araval, which is also comes under the Magadh region. Right now we are in Gaya, and we also went to Sitamarhi, which which is eyeing the development of the grand temple of Ma Sita there. So people here are, we talked to so many voters, and everybody said that first of all they want more job opportunities here. The second issue is that they want to lessen the migration here, because people here are migrating to other cities, to other states, and to other countries in order to find better job opportunities. That was all the more reason that why Patna witnessed a lesser voter turnout, which was around 44-45%. If we talk about Gaya, also Gaya in the 2020 assembly elections witnessed around 49% voter turnout. But this time migration is also an issue, and the third issue is of women's safety. However, we saw a greater turnout of women in the past phase and last phase, and the women credited to the secure situation that they have right now in hand, and they expect that they will be more secured in the upcoming second phase as well, so that they can come out in large numbers and vote across all the districts, all 122 constituencies, which also lie in backward areas, in village sort of areas as well. But the Election Commission has made all the preparations and ensuring that all the women and all the female voters come out in large number and participate in the voting process.
All right, we'll leave it there for now, Deepika. Thank you. My colleague Deepika Mehta reporting there from Gaya before the campaigning ends later this evening. And staying in Bihar, Sitamarhi in the state of Bihar is known for its famous Punora Dham, the birthplace of goddess Sita. The Dham plays a crucial role in this election as its development-led promises drive voters' mandate. Deepika Mehta reports from Sitamarhi.
India has now reached Sitamarhi, one of the ancient districts of Bihar and revered for many reasons. And most importantly, this is the birthplace of goddess Sita. The pond that you can see behind me is exactly the place where Ma Sita took her birth. Now, Sitamarhi is going into the elections and going for the polling in the second phase of Bihar Assembly elections, which is scheduled for the 11th of November. Let's now talk to the voters here. What exactly do they demand? What are the benefits they are getting from the government? And what is the scenario when we talk about job employment?
Sitamarhi is home to the sacred Punora Dham, a historical place located in Sitamarhi district of Bihar, which is considered to be the birthplace of Mata Sita. Famous for its mythological aspect, the district of Sitamarhi now gears up to poll on the upcoming 11th November. As Sitamarhi gets ready, Prime Minister Narendra Modi once again lauded government's initiative of developing the Punora Dham into a grand temple.
हम इस क्षेत्र को रामायण सर्किट से जोड़ रहे हैं। सीतामढ़ी से अयोध्या के लिए सीधी रेल सेवा भी इसी प्लान का हिस्सा है। अयोध्या में सीतामढ़ी के दामाद जी का भव्य मंदिर बन गया है। अब माता के मायके की बारी है। पुनौरा धाम की भव्यता अब पूरी दुनिया देखेगी।
Development factor remains the key for voters, as they said that the development of Punora Dham will benefit the district and also help in uplifting the status of the region with more tourist and business opportunities.
मोदी जी जहाँ हैं वहाँ विकास ही विकास होता है, ठीक है। और उनकी इस माँ की असीम कृपा है कि हमारे आदरणीय मोदी जी को प्रेरणा मिला कि चलो अब मैं रामलला को देख लिया, अब मैया को देखें। तो मैया का यहाँ शिलान्यास किए हैं और यहाँ भव्य मंदिर बनेगा और एक पर्यटक स्थल बनेगा, जिससे इस पुनौरा गांव के सारे बेरोजगार का रोजगार यहाँ मिलेगा।
While the development of Sita Janki Mandir remains a key factor, the youth now demands employment opportunities.
यूजर चाहते हैं, वो रोजगार चाहते हैं और क्या चाहते। जो अभी इसका निर्माण भवन भी हो रहा है, बहुत बढ़िया खुशी की बात है। हम लोग भी सीतामढ़ी से हैं और इसके ये बात सुन के हम लोग को बहुत खुशी हुई कि हमारी सीता माँ के जानकी की भव्य मंदिर बनने वाली, जैसे कि अयोध्या में माँ ये भगवत राम जी की जो मंदिर बनी, वैसे मेरी माँ सीता की भी बनेगी।
Sitamarhi awaits tourist attraction with the development of Punora Dham, and the development-led promises has the trust of voters who believe that this can be a big game changer for their livelihood.
So the voters here are bound to get a lot of benefits with the development of the Punora Dham, the birthplace of goddess Sita. This is what the voters have to say here in Sitamarhi, because it is going to give immense benefits for their jobs, for their different opportunities. With camera person Manmohan, this is Deepika reporting from Sitamarhi for DD India.
So Sitamarhi, revered for goddess Sita, is all set to vote on 11th November. It's a constituency where women empowerment remains a key focus as the region too worships goddess Sita. Deepika Mehto, my colleague, interacted with the women voters to understand the poll dynamics this time around. Take a look.
Women have always been the key focus for development here in India, and when it comes to elections, especially in Bihar, this is also the center of focus this time. In Sitamarhi, the focus is again on women and their empowerment. Let's now talk to the women power of Sitamarhi and what exactly do they want this election.
बिहार में मैं बिल्कुल चाहती हूँ कि बदलाव आए। यहाँ बिहार के लोग जो बाहर जाके नौकरी ढूंढ रहे हैं, उन्हें बाहर ना जाना पड़े, वो अपने बिहार में आके काम करें। रोजगार के लिए जो परेशान है सब, यहाँ पे फैक्ट्रियाँ बनवाएं, यहाँ पे लोग काम करवाएं, तो यहाँ पे लोगों को बाहर नहीं जाना पड़ेगा। महिलाएं भी यहीं पे पढ़ेंगी। सभी लड़कियों को ये इधर ही रहना पड़े, पढ़ाई के लिए बाहर ना जाना पड़े, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग यहाँ पे अपना करे काम।
So Sitamarhi, famous for goddess Sita, is the place where women demand more job opportunities, more employment opportunities, better educational facilities and more opportunities that can help in avoiding migration. This is Deepika reporting with camera person Manmohan from Sitamarhi, Bihar.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. Fire kills 6 in Turkey, including 2 teenage girls. A tornado tears through Brazil. And Israelis hold a sit-in to demand the release of all the bodies of captives in Gaza.
देश की मिट्टी captures the deep connection that Indians everywhere feel with the country's soil. But today, this land and the communities that directly depend on it both face grave threats. We uncover stories of innovation and resilience that are trying to safeguard this soil for the future generations.
When we follow what the scientists recommend, we end up spending less. I now use less fertilizers, but I'm getting better yields.
These kinds of structures, they actually help keep the water in the landscape, allowing it to sort of seep into the groundwater and contribute to maintaining groundwater level.
99% of the cases that I've seen, cause for urgency is not satisfied.
The project is innovative. They are maintaining our beach like a clean city.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. After Typhoon Kalmeji aftermath in central Philippines, now the Typhoon Fungwong, which is locally known as Uwan, is forecasted to make landfall in Aurora province in the Philippines as early as Sunday night local time. Strong winds and heavy rains are battering the eastern Philippines as Super Typhoon Fungwong moves closer to Luzon. Authorities have evacuated 1 lakh people as the storm threatens to bring destructive winds and flooding. Super Typhoon Fungwong approached the Philippines just days after the country was battered by Typhoon Kalmeji, which killed 204 people and left a trail of destruction before slamming into Vietnam. Storm alert signals have also been sent across large parts of the Philippines with signal number 5, while Metro Manila and surrounding areas are under signal number 3. Typhoon Kalmeji has left a trail of destruction across Vietnam's Dak Lak province. 6 people have been reported dead or injured and over 1,100 houses were damaged or collapsed. The typhoon made landfall in central Vietnam late on Thursday local time, uprooting trees, damaging homes and triggering power outages before weakening as it moved inland. More than 54,000 aquaculture cages and several fishing boats were destroyed by strong winds and waves. Local authorities have deployed rescue forces to assist recovery and restore normalcy. Power supply remains disrupted. The province is now assessing total losses to provide aid to the affected residents.
We have reviewed and recorded the damages to promptly allocate funds from the provincial budget and government support to help affected residents. Military and police forces are also preparing plans to assist in the recovery and repair of hundreds of fishing boats washed ashore.
A massive fire at a perfume warehouse in northwestern Turkey killed 6 people, including 2 teenage girls. The blaze broke out Saturday morning in Dilovasi, about 70 kilometers from Istanbul. 5 others were injured, 1 critically, as firefighters worked swiftly to contain the flames. Officials confirmed that the warehouse owner and 2 senior staff members were arrested following the incident. Authorities have launched an investigation to determine the cause of the fire. The Turkish Labour Ministry also suspended 7 civil servants linked to social and labour oversight. Images from Turkish media showed 2 floors of the warehouse completely destroyed. Fire and Emergency New Zealand reported on Sunday that 8 helicopters and 3 planes were combating a wildfire burning 1,100 hectares in Tongariro National Park. Aerial reconnaissance will assess damage on Sunday with full containment expected after a day of operations. 6 fire trucks and 5 tankers support ground efforts. 40 hikers were airlifted Saturday, 9 more evacuated Sunday morning. Overnight operations paused for safety in the rugged terrain of this popular central North Island hiking area. A powerful tornado tore through southern Brazil on Friday. In Paraná, state officials reported that rescue operations were underway in Rio Bonito do Iguacu following the tornado. 6 deaths are confirmed with at least 750 injured. 90% of homes and public buildings remain damaged by winds reaching 250 kilometers per hour. The government has extended the state of public calamity, releasing emergency funds and federal aid. About 1,000 displaced people are staying at Laranjeiras do Sul shelters. Firefighters are clearing debris along with restoration of power and water. 3 days of official mourning to honor victims amid ongoing intensive care for the injured continues. As the U.S. government shutdown reaches a staggering 39th day, the nation's aviation system is buckling under pressure. The Federal Aviation Administration reports 1,460 flight cancellations on Saturday, marking the second day of mandated flight reductions at 40 major U.S. airports. Thousands more flights were delayed, with staffing shortages crippling 37 air traffic control towers and centers in key hubs including Atlanta, Newark, San Francisco, Chicago and New York. At Atlanta alone, ground delays averaged 4.7 hours. The shutdown has furloughed or left unpaid 13,000 air traffic controllers and 50,000 security screeners, triggering 20 to 40% absenteeism, forced overtime and widespread fatigue. Airlines have been ordered to cut flights 4% already in effect, rising to 10% by next Friday as a stopgap to cope with thinning staff. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has warned of further operational cuts if political deadlock continues. Meanwhile, analysts say the fallout extends far beyond airport terminals, threatening tourism, cargo movement and critical services as cancellations ripple across the global travel network. Syria's President Ahmed al-Shara arrived in Washington, D.C. on Saturday for a historic official visit, the first by a Syrian leader since 1946. His arrival comes a day after the U.S. removed him from its terrorism blacklist. Shara, who led rebel forces to overthrow Bashar al-Assad last year, will meet President Donald Trump at the White House on Monday. The two leaders first met in Riyadh earlier this year during Trump's regional tour. U.S. officials expect discussions on Syria joining the U.S.-led coalition against the Islamic State. Washington, D.C. also plans to establish a base near Damascus to oversee humanitarian aid and regional developments. The State Department said delisting al-Shara acknowledges Syria's progress towards stability and political reform. And staying in West Asia, Israel Defense Forces announced on Saturday that Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir met the family of Lieutenant Hadar Goldin, who was killed in the 2014 Gaza conflict, pledging to recover his remains still held by Hamas. Zamir updated them on intelligence progress after reports of a Hamas-led search in Israeli-controlled Rafah tunnel. The military reaffirmed commitment to repatriate Goldin and all fallen hostages under the October 10 ceasefire. Hamas has returned 23 bodies and Goldin's remains are among the 4 still held. Hundreds of Israelis gathered at Hostages Square in the central city of Tel Aviv to demand the release of all captives' bodies still held by Hamas in Gaza and for a state investigation into the 7th October 2023 attacks. Many survivors of captivity and torture in Gaza also participated in the regular weekly rally and called for the swift completion of the truce hostage deal that U.S. President Donald Trump brokered between Israel and Hamas. With dabke dances, cheers and emotional speeches, 150 Gazan students celebrate their graduation from Al-Aqsa University in Khan Yunis amid a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. It's the first class to graduate from the university since conflict erupted in the territory more than 2 years ago. In a sweeping effort to shield children and young people from the adverse effects of social media, several countries around the world have implemented bans or restrictions on digital platforms. These measures vary in scope and intensity, reflecting each nation's approach to online safety, political control, and youth protection. This growing trend reflects a global reckoning with the influence of social media on youth well-being. signaling a shift towards more regulated digital environments. Countries such as China, North Korea, Iran, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Turkey, Myanmar and Russia have long maintained strict controls over internet access and social media use. Meanwhile, several Western nations are now introducing new age-based restrictions to protect minors online. In a landmark move, Denmark has announced a ban on social media access for children under 15, aiming to curb exposure to harmful content. While Australia is set to implement a similar policy from December 10, prohibiting users under 16 from having social media accounts. Platforms that fail to comply will face fines. In France, a law passed in 2023 now requires parental consent for minors under 15 to create social media accounts, while Belgium mandates that children must be at least 13 years old to use social media without parental approval. On the occasion of National Entrepreneurship Day in India, focus is once again on the talent and achievements of Indian entrepreneurs. From small-scale businesses to unicorn startups, targeted reforms by the government have played a key role in improving ease of doing business and creating newer opportunities for the youth. Here's more.
National Entrepreneurship Day is celebrated annually on November 9th in India. The nation has taken decisive steps to make it easier to start, run and grow a business. From digital single window clearances to large-scale regulatory cleanups, the focus is on creating a predictable and supportive business environment. These changes save time, cut costs and inspire confidence among entrepreneurs and investors.
पिछले 11 साल में एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, उद्यमशीलता को बहुत बड़ी ताकत मिली। आज लाखों स्टार्टअप्स टियर 2, टियर 3 सिटी में देश की अर्थशक्ति को, देश के इनोवेशन को ताकत दे रहे हैं। उसी प्रकार से मुद्रा योजना से हमारे देश के करोड़ों नौजवान, उसमें भी हमारी बेटियां, करोड़ों करोड़ों लोग मुद्रा से लोन लेकर के अपना खुद का कारोबार कर रहे हैं। खुद तो अपने पैरों पर खड़े हुए हैं, लेकिन औरों को भी पैरों पर खड़े रहने की ताकत देते हैं। वे भी एक प्रकार से हर व्यक्ति को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने का अवसर दे रही है।
India is now the third largest startup ecosystem in the world after the US and China. There are over 1.9 lakh startups in India today. These startups have generated more than 17 lakh jobs. India holds 39th position in World Competitiveness Index 2024. Over 400 schemes support female entrepreneurs. India is the fourth largest economy in the world and is fast moving towards the next pedestal. The nation's development journey is energized by the aspirations and achievements of its entrepreneurs. Bureau Report, DD India.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. An expert take on President Murmu's visit to Angola. Prime Minister Modi to visit Bhutan on 11th November. And Belagavi to host exercise Mitra Shakti.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. A quick recap of the headlines. President Draupadi Murmu to hold talks with her Angolan counterpart in Luanda. Prime Minister Modi visits Uttarakhand to mark the state's 25th Foundation Day. Typhoon Fengwang approaches the Philippines after Kalmeji wreaks havoc across Southeast Asia. And 1,400 flights cancelled on day 2 of US government-mandated flight cuts amid shutdown. The Indian Air Force is marking its 93rd anniversary with a spectacular air show over the Brahmaputra at Guwahati on Sunday. The event includes musical band performances followed by the flying display of the Indian Air Force assets, allowing people to enjoy the spectacle from both the northern and southern banks of the river. The lineup features some of the IAF's most advanced aircraft, including the indigenous light combat aircraft Tejas, Rafale and the Surya Kiran aerobatics team. This year's Air Force Day celebrations revolve around the theme of infallible, impervious and precise, underscoring the IAF's commitment to operational excellence, resilience and precision. The Additional Directorate General of Public Information announced that the 11th edition of exercise Mitra Shakti will take place from 10th to 23rd November at the Foreign Training Node at Belagavi. Indian and Sri Lankan armies will enhance joint operations in urban and semi-urban terrain, fostering defence cooperation, mutual trust and regional peace. The annual event alternates between the two nations. Last year's edition in Sri Lanka involved Rajputana Rifles and Gajapa Regiment, sharing counter-terrorism tactics among their personnel. The Indian Army's Western Command on Sunday announced that Kharga warriors from Meerut's Ram Division executed a high-tempo river crossing exercise validating mechanized flotation and bridging techniques. This operation underscores the critical role of speed, lethality, precision and synergy in contemporary warfare, enabling forces to overcome natural barriers swiftly. The exercise dispels notions that waterways hinder military advances, positioning water as a traversable asset against adversaries. Under Kharga Corps, these drills enhance operational readiness along India's western frontiers. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar conveyed official greetings to Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn and the people of Cambodia on their 72nd Independence Day on Sunday. Minister Jaishankar highlighted the value of broad-based cooperation rooted in shared civilizational linkages. Coinciding with celebrations, 2 districts in Koh Kong Province, Botum Sakor and Srey Ambel, were declared mine-free during ceremonies attended by bilateral officials. This achievement stems from a $5 million grant assistance from India given in June 2025, advancing sustainable development and regional security through humanitarian demining efforts. Prime Minister Modi visited Dehradun on Sunday to participate in an event marking the 25th anniversary of Uttarakhand's formation, a moment tied deeply to the region's aspirations and identity. During his visit, the Prime Minister inaugurated and laid the foundation stone for several development projects across the state. These initiatives included drinking water, irrigation, technical education, energy, urban development, sport and skill development. sectors critical to the state's growth and infrastructure strengthening. In a major boost to the agricultural community, Prime Minister Modi released 620 million directly into the bank accounts of over 28,000 farmers as part of the PM Fasal Bima Yojana, offering enhanced financial protection against crop losses. To mark the Silver Jubilee celebrations, the Prime Minister also launched a commemorative postal stamp honouring Uttarakhand's progress and the spirit of its people. The Prime Minister also received an overwhelming reception during a vibrant roadshow in Uttarakhand. Thousands of people lined the streets to greet the Prime Minister. Addressing the gathering in Dehradun, Prime Minister Modi highlighted the transformative path the state of Uttarakhand has taken and reaffirmed the centre's commitment to its continued development. He underscored that Uttarakhand has the potential to become the spiritual capital of the world.
उत्तराखंड ने 25 वर्षों में विकास की एक लंबी यात्रा तय की है। अब सवाल ये है कि अगले 25 वर्षों में हम उत्तराखंड को किस ऊंचाई पर देखना चाहेंगे। आपने वो कहावत जरूर सुनी होगी, जहां चाह वहां राह। इसलिए जब हमें ये पता होगा हमारा लक्ष्य क्या है, तो वहां पहुंचने का रोड मैप भी उतनी ही तेजी से बनेगा। साथियों, उत्तराखंड का असली परिचय उसकी आध्यात्मिक शक्ति है। उत्तराखंड अगर ठान ले तो अगले कुछ ही वर्षों में खुद को स्पिरिचुअल कैपिटल ऑफ द वर्ल्ड के रूप में स्थापित कर सकता है।
President Draupadi Murmu extended her heartfelt greetings on the 25th anniversary of Uttarakhand's establishment. The President, in a social media post, said that Uttarakhand has made an unparalleled contribution to our country's glorious spiritual cultural journey. She further added that over the past 25 years, the state's diligent and humble people have created new dimensions of modern development. All right, going back to our top story, President Murmu is visiting Angola, and joining us is Ambassador Sushil Kumar Singhal. He is a former Indian envoy to Angola and Papua New Guinea. Ambassador, welcome to DD India News Hour. Now, could you give our viewers an overview of India-Angola relations to begin with?
Well, the India and Angola have a very long-term relationship. As you know, Angola is going to celebrate 50 years of its independence, and the 40 years of India diplomatic relations, the anniversary, and our president is going to attend the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the 50th Independence Day of Angola, as well as the 40th anniversary of diplomatic relations of India and Angola. Our relationship is long-lasting, and it goes to even the pre-independence of the Angola, because we have an old Goa connection, because of the Portuguese colony. So Indians participated in the independence movement of Angola, and India is #2 trading partner when we look at the economic relationship. We have a trade, the bilateral trade is in the range of about $4.5 billion, out of which, and we are the second largest importer of the gas and oil, basically oil, from Angola. And this visit is very important because it is the first head of a state visit to Angola from Indian side. So, and I expect that this visit will give a new fillip to the relationship of India and Angola. And as I understand, there is going to be a number of agreements in the field of oil, defense. We have extended about $200 million line of credit in the defense, I understand. So that will give us a new foothold in the defense industry. And apart from that, people to people, we have about 7,000 Indians working in Angola who play a very important role economically and otherwise in Angola. So the relationship, and Angola, of course, is also, this year, AU, Africa Union chairman. So this relationship of India and Angola is not only limited, is not limited to the India-Angola, it's actually whole Africa. Is showcasing what relationship India is keeping with Angola, and the visit is going to be again, set a new trend in our relationship.
Again, for the benefit of your viewers, Ambassador, Angola is I'm told, the largest Portuguese-speaking country in Africa. Angola's Portuguese influence stems from its history as a Portuguese colony. What else can you tell us about its history?
Well, you're absolutely right when you say that, Angola is the largest Portuguese-speaking country. And when we look at the economy, the size of economy of Angola is quite large. Geographical location of Angola is also very important, which, gives us a very big say in the affairs in Africa. And as I said, it's the second largest producer of oil in Africa after Nigeria. And of course, the China has a huge investment. They have received about $45 billion investments or aid from China in Angola. So, but now Angola, what is looking for is the new frontier, new partnerships. And India fits the bill because the kind of technology we have to offer are suitable to the conditions of Angola. And this, I think the visit will open the new, as I keep saying, is going to open the new areas of cooperation, be it in agriculture, because in agriculture, they have a very huge tracts of land, but they are not able to exploit that because of the technological constraint. And Indian agriculture is very, very, developed. So my feeling is that, that in a field of agriculture, India is going to give a big assistance. In railways, also India has, in the previous time, we have given a lot of assistance. And again, the Minister of State for Railway is going to be is visiting along with the President. So I feel that, in the railway sector of the railway also will play an important role because Angola has a large area which need to be connected. And similarly with the electricity, solar power is another requirement of Angola, which I think would be very helpful from Indian side.
Indeed. Since you refer to China, Ambassador, how would you describe Angola-China ties? I ask you this because Angola is a classic example of falling into Chinese debt trap. The loans they took as part of China's Belt and Road Initiative has created financial pressure. Now, Angola, we are told, is now having to rely heavily on oil exports to China to repay these loans, and a drop in oil prices and revenue has made debt servicing difficult. Do you think Angola is a cautionary tale?
Absolutely, absolutely. What you are asking is very, very pertinent. As I mentioned that, China has given about $45 billion aid, which may or may not be protected. I will not go into that debate.
Sure.
But the obligations to repay the loans, I've been told that almost 60% of the revenue of the oil is going towards a debt payment. So that has, the country, there's a feeling that the crisis, the foreign currency crisis at Angola is actually creation of China, because the kind of loan they have been given, which are not able to pay any, they are not paying that. So they have to pay from their revenue, and they are not able to, invest in any development or for the upliftment of the society. So Angola has realized, but now it's a bit too late for them. So they are trying to wiggle out of it, but they have an obligation which they have to pay. But China is not very helpful in that, because they have requested for the debt waivers and of course a rescheduling. But China, because it's keen to have their oil as the production of oil, because they are the largest importer of oil from them, which goes into repayment, because then I have been told they don't get any penny. All the revenue, all the oil goes just for the repayment of loans and the debt.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Ambassador Singhal, thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts with our viewers in India and around the world. Thank you. Right, moving on, Prime Minister Modi will be on a two-day visit to Bhutan from the 11th of this month. During the visit, he and the King of Bhutan, Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuk, will inaugurate the 1,020 megawatt Punat Sangchu 2 hydroelectric project. The project is jointly developed by India and Bhutan. The Prime Minister will attend the celebrations dedicated to the 70th birth anniversary of the 4th King of Bhutan, Jigme Singye Wangchuk, and also meet his counterpart, Shering Tobgay. He will participate in the Global Peace Prayer Festival and offer prayers to the holy relics at Tashi Jodong in Thimphu. In a significant moment of spiritual and cultural exchange, the sacred relics of Lord Buddha have reached Bhutan for an 11-day public exposition as part of the Global Peace Prayer Festival. A delegation led by Minister for Social Justice and Empowerment Virendra Kumar carried the relics on an Indian Air Force aircraft from New Delhi to Bhutan's capital Thimphu. The relics enshrined at the National Museum in New Delhi will be placed for public viewing at the Kyunre Hall of Tashi Jodong, one of Bhutan's most revered monastic and administrative centers. The exposition, being held from 8th to the 18th of November, coincides with the 70th birth anniversary of Bhutan's 4th king, Jigme Singye Wangchuk. Bhutan's Prime Minister Shering Tobgay expressed gratitude to the Government of India and Prime Minister Modi for facilitating the visit, calling it a gesture of deep friendship and shared spiritual heritage. This marks the second visit of the sacred relics to Bhutan, the first being in 2011 during the royal wedding celebrations of King Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuk. And my colleague Shubhendu Ghosh joins us from Thimphu for more. Shubhendu, the visit of the Prime Minister coincides with the exposition of the sacred Piprava relics of Lord Buddha from India. Tell us more.
Hello Ramesh from Thimphu. Well, the Piprava relics, sacred Buddhist relics, are some of the most venerated relics that are there, which talk about the legacy of Lord Buddha. They really date back centuries ago. They are remains of Lord Buddha which were excavated from the ancient town of Kapilavastu. This is in Uttar Pradesh, near borders with Nepal, and in many ways these are considered to be the most special and relics of Lord Buddha. So in that sense, their presence here in Bhutan, in Thimphu, at a time when Global Peace Prayer Festival is underway in Bhutan, which is an organization which is organized to bring together leading Buddhist thought leaders, peace advocates, to take forward the message of Buddhism, to take forward the message of peace. In that context, having these relics from India here in Thimphu for a public exposition also gives an opportunity to the followers to experience, as it were, the physical presence of Lord Buddha, the spiritual leader. So very, very special moment for all Buddhists and people in Bhutan. They've expressed great gratitude to India for doing this, and it also talks about the kind of relationship that the two countries share, civilizational ties, Buddhist heritage, and now evolving into a very modern development partnership.
Minister's visit to Shubhendu, how would you describe the bilateral ties between India and Bhutan as they exist today, the state of play in their ties?
India and Bhutan ties are characterized by deep understanding and friendship, and most importantly, having respect for each other's interests, whether they're economic or strategic. If we look at some of the projects that Prime Minister would be inaugurating when he arrives here in Thimphu, one is the about 1,020 megawatt P2 hydropower project. Now, hydropower has been a cornerstone of India-Bhutan development partnership. Bhutan is considered a strong pillar of India's neighborhood first policy, which is demonstrated through the development partnership the two countries have. Now, why I'm calling hydropower project a cornerstone is that it is really at the bedrock of the kind of development partnership that the two countries have fostered. India funds and helps develop mega hydrocarbon projects here in hydropower projects, here in Bhutan, which has that kind of a landscape. In return, Bhutan being a small country, it does not consume all the electricity it produces. So it sends it back to India, and it's a source of, one of the major source of revenues for this Himalayan kingdom. So in that sense, that partnership in this sustainable mode of energy creation is a hallmark of the relationship. Their economic ties have also grown from strength to strength. From 2014, if you look at the trade ties, they have nearly tripled. They today stand at over $1.7 billion, the trade volume between Bhutan and India. Ramesh, so in that sense, Prime Minister's visit is greatly expected to take forward this very close bilateral friendship with Bhutan, and people-to-people friendship, cultural ties between the two countries are also going to be in focus.
Right. Thank you for now, Shubhendu. We'll keep coming back to you for more as we go along. Appreciate it. Now, the Global Peace Prayer Festival is being organized in Bhutan's capital, Thimphu. Thousands of Buddhist monks, devotees and peace seekers from around the world have gathered in a grand celebration of spirituality and compassion. India's Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment, Virendra Kumar, attended the event along with an Indian delegation joined by members of the royal family of Bhutan. Participants collectively offered prayers for global peace and well-being, reinforcing the timeless teachings of Lord Buddha and the shared commitment to fostering friendship and harmony across borders. Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan is on a visit to Karnataka, his maiden visit to the state since assuming office. During his visit, the Vice President attended the commemoration of Jain monk Shanti Sagar Maharaj at Shravana Belagola. He unveiled the idol of the revered monk and lauded his role in reviving the Digambara Jain tradition. The Vice President also spoke about the central government's efforts to preserve ancient knowledge systems through initiatives like the Gyan Bharata mission and the recognition of Prakrit as a classical language. Later, the Vice President offered prayers at the historic Cheluva Narayana Swami temple in Melukot, Karnataka. Rohitash Chaudhary on Sunday set a new Guinness World Record with 847 one-legged push-ups in 1 hour, carrying a 27.875 kilogram backpack, surpassing Syria's previous mark. The Haryana athlete, known as the Push-Up Man of India, overcame a severe back injury that sidelined him for 2 years through rigorous 4-hour daily training. This feat follows his recent break of Pakistan's 534 rep record with 704 push-ups last month. At the Belém Climate Change Summit ahead of COP30, Dr. Arunabh Ghosh, the CEO of Council on Energy, Environment and Water and COP30 Special Envoy representing South Asia, addressed the Leaders Summit on a thematic session on energy transition. The South Asia envoy to COP30, Dr. Arunabh Ghosh, highlighted the story of India and South Asia. He said India has electrified 130 million people in 18 months, delivered clean cooking and fuels to over 100 million households, while simultaneously building out a clean energy infrastructure, which is the 4th largest in the world. The United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change announced that the 30th Conference of the Parties, known as COP30, will commence on 10 November at Belém in Brazil. The United Nations Climate Change Secretariat released its latest quarterly update ahead of COP30, detailing progress across critical areas of global climate action. The report covers advancements in mitigation, adaptation, transparency, Article 6 carbon markets, climate finance and engagement with non-party stakeholders, including businesses, cities and youths. It also highlights the work of regional collaboration centers supporting developing nations in implementing climate strategies. 3 major reports issued last month assess national adaptation plans, updated nationally determined contributions, and biennial transparency reports providing essential data for negotiations. These milestones underscore the preparatory momentum leading into the November 10th conference in Belém, Brazil, where nations aim to strengthen commitments and secure finance for a resilient, low-carbon future. To sports news now, Indian shooters kicked off their rifle and pistol world championship campaign in style by bagging 4 medals, 1 gold, 1 silver and 2 bronzes on the opening day of the competition in Egypt. Army shooter Ravinder Singh won the gold in men's 50-meter pistol event in Cairo. The 29-year-old Ravinder Singh, along with Kamaljeet and Yogesh Kumar, also helped India win a silver medal in the team event. In the women's 10-meter air rifle event, Olympian Elavanil Valarivan also picked up 2 medals by striking bronze in both the individual and team categories. India have sent a 40-member squad for the championships, including Olympic medalists Manu Bhaker and Swapnil Kusale. World number 1 Yannick Sinner and his closest rival Carlos Alcaraz are set to headline the ATP finals beginning in Italy today. Both players aim to cap their seasons with the prestigious year-ending title. The ATP finals will feature the top 8 players from the season competing in 2 round-robin groups. The tournament will conclude on 16th November in Turin. The 2 rivals currently vying for the world number 1 spot to end the year express excitement and determination ahead of the event. Novak Djokovic won the 101st title of his career when he came from behind to beat Lorenzo Musetti 4-6, 6-3, 7-5 in the final of the Hellenic Championship in Athens. The Serb is one of the just 3 men to have bagged a century of titles. He still needs 2 to equal Roger Federer's tally, while Jimmy Connors heads the list with 109 trophies. At 38 years and 5 months, the 24-time Grand Slam winner is the oldest tournament winner since Australia's Ken Rosewall, who was 43 when he won in Hong Kong in 1977. It was Djokovic's second title of 2025, having won in Geneva in May. Meanwhile, Djokovic has pulled out of the ATP finals with a shoulder injury. He'll be replaced by Musetti. Elena Rybakina clinched her biggest title since Wimbledon in 2022 by defeating world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka 6-3, 7-6 at the WTA finals in Riyadh. The world number 6 put on yet another serving masterclass and was at her returning best. She's become the first Kazakh and the first player representing an Asian country to lift the WTA finals trophy. Her winning streak now stands at 11 matches and she improved her head-to-head record against Sabalenka with 6 wins against 8 losses. Rybakina was the last of the 8 players in the singles field to qualify for the WTA finals in Riyadh. She will finish the year ranked number 5. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can get the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. You may wish to scan the QR code that's now on the screen to download it. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.